In early 21st century London, a 12-year-old named Quinn Cromie arrives at his mother's workplace in the subway construction zone. He's there to share the disappointing news that his scholarship application has been turned down. As they ponder how to find the needed funds, a worker informs them of a surprising discovery. A tunnel worker has uncovered a cave. Intrigued, Quinn rushes to the scene. As the other workers investigate the newly found passage, Quinn decides to venture inside. While exploring this newfound space, he is suddenly caught off guard when flames burst forth at his feet, revealing a terrifying creature that spits something at him, hitting his eyes. Panicked, Quinn scrambles out of the tunnel, desperately trying to alert his mother to the danger. His mother, though concerned, quickly ushers Quinn towards the exit, urging him to wash his eyes. Just as they make their way to safety, flames erupt behind them. With urgency, she pulls him into an elevator cage and pushes the ascent button. As they ascend, an astonishing sight unfolds. A dragon bursts from the flames, crushing Quinn's mother as it emerges. Miraculously, Quinn survives the chaos, but the world soon falls under the control of these flying, fire-breathing creatures. In a startling twist, it is revealed that dragons actually existed in our world and were responsible for wiping out the dinosaurs before entering a long period of hibernation. When humanity becomes aware of their existence, efforts are made to combat these creatures, but their numbers only continue to grow. By 2010, in a desperate bid to save humanity, nuclear weapons are deployed against the dragons. Sadly, this drastic measure only accelerates the impending catastrophe. By the year 2020, the Earth is left in ruins, with only a handful of survivors clinging to a medieval-like existence, devoid of the comforts of modern civilization. A grown-up Quinn now leads a small group of survivors in England. They seek refuge within the walls of a modest castle in Northumberland, striving to avoid direct confrontations with the relentless dragon attacks. Despite their efforts, the human population steadily dwindles as these formidable creatures maintain their assault. One day, Quinn's assistant reports that one of their fellow survivors, Eddie, along with his children, plans to embark on a risky journey in search of a harvest. Concerned about the recklessness of this plan, Quinn makes a passionate attempt to dissuade Eddie, emphasizing that the timing is far from ideal. He points out that the dragons are actively roaming, and the harvest isn't yet fully ripe, meaning there won't be enough seeds for the next planting. However, Eddie remains stubborn and aggressive, unwilling to accept that others in their community are enduring similar hardships. In an effort to prevent what he believes is a perilous undertaking, Quinn steps in and takes away the keys to the vehicle. As night falls, Quinn and his buddy Creedy treat the children to a special show inspired by ancient English tales. After the performance, they come together in prayer, with the children echoing words that hold directions for what to do if they spot dragons. Everyone then goes to bed, not knowing that Eddie has embarked on his daring journey. He gathers 4 young adults and heads to the vegetable fields, causing a commotion. As an alarm blares at the fortress, the horizon reveals the menacing presence of dragons. People swiftly lead the children into secure basements for safety. Amidst the chaos, a woman raises concerns about Eddie and his children being missing. Just as this troubling news emerges, the dragons launch a devastating attack. Tragically, one of Eddie's sons loses his life during the onslaught. Eddie and the remaining survivors find themselves trapped, with no means of escape, as the fire-engulfed area threatens their demise. In a critical moment, Quinn and his group arrive to the rescue, arriving in a fire truck and using a stream of water to repel the ferocious dragon. In a fiery confrontation, the beast incinerates the front vehicle. However, the others manage to begin their retreat. Despite their vehicle's engine failing, Creedy takes action, pushing Quinn's car with his own, and they make a daring escape. Behind them, the dragon devours the bodies of the fallen, marking a narrow victory in the face of destruction. A day later, the radio operator intercepts conversations of unfamiliar individuals. Quinn, concerned that these might be marauders who are no less dangerous than the dragons, calls for a general assembly. Every able-bodied person grabs their weapons and heads out to address this potential threat. Before long, several vehicles adorned with U.S. Army insignias arrive at the Citadel gates. A man emerges and demands to meet with the leader. Quinn steps forward to greet him. The newcomer introduces himself as Van Zan and asks for shelter for his group, just for a single day. He's a pilot who successfully repaired his helicopter and flew here to combat the dragons. Quinn, aware of the formidable strength and danger these creatures pose, expresses his doubts and recommends that the Americans depart. However, Van Zan, in an effort to convince him, displays a dragon's tooth, personally extracted from the last one he had recently defeated. Van Zan also shares a crucial insight with Quinn. He's discovered that dragons possess the ability to see in both the darkness of night and the brightness of day, but their vision becomes less reliable during the dim twilight that precedes dusk. Van Zan's group has become the initial achievers in consistently slaying dragons, earning Quinn's decision to welcome them into their fortress. This decision, however, doesn't sit well with Creedy. Amid their disagreement, an actual helicopter suddenly appears overhead, a sight unseen in the past 2 decades. This event solidifies their trust in Van Zan's credibility. A young pilot named Alex, flying the helicopter, delivers the news that no dragons are in the vicinity, granting them a much-needed respite. Alex's companions are called Archangels, and they have an incredibly short lifespan of just 17 seconds. After leaping from the helicopter, they engage in combat with the enemy, employing nets that they throw onto the dragons. Later on, Quinn introduces Alex to Jared, the child he had discovered in one of the villages when he was just a toddler. The girl is deeply impressed, as genuine care for others has become a rarity in these times. At that very moment, a signal alerts them to the impending arrival of a dragon. Van Zan promptly declares their readiness for combat, and his team takes their positions within their vehicles. Alex takes flight in the helicopter, but for safety, she needs the beacon readings. One of the fighters is dispatched on a motorcycle to set up the necessary beacons. This individual activates 2 of the beacons, while Van Zan instructs the net throwers not to release their parachutes until they are certain the creature has landed. Tragically, the person tasked with installing the last beacon loses their life in the process, unable to set up the final device in time. Witnessing the tragic event, Quinn springs into action. He hops onto a horse and dashes towards the mountains just as the dragon draws perilously close to the helicopter. The Archangels leap out, descending rapidly to the ground, with the dragon hot on their tail. Their swift actions involve releasing nets that disrupt the dragon's course, but regrettably, one of the Archangels doesn't make it. In the midst of this chaos, Quinn activates the 3rd beacon. Van Zan, recognizing their need to divert the dragon's attention, asks Quinn to serve as bait and lure the creature toward the weapon. Quinn takes off on his horse, making a beeline for the fortress. As the beast is about to seize him, Van Zan fires a dragon-killing projectile, causing the creature to plummet to the ground. That evening, the people come together to celebrate their hard-won victory. However, the arrival of Van Zan casts a shadow on their spirits. He reminds them that it's too soon to revel in triumph, especially given the loss of his companions who deserve a proper burial. Later, he confides in Quinn, mentioning that Alex serves as the keeper of memory, remembering the names of all the fallen so they can be honored with due respect. Van Zan admits he needs more recruits, and he hopes to find them among Quinn's team. Alex further shares that their chemist has managed to identify the composition of dragonfire, which is remarkably similar to napalm. She adds that all dragons are females, reproducing from a single male, presumably located in London. Eliminating this male dragon would eventually put an end to their population. Quinn holds the belief that embarking on a trip to London is an impractical idea. He's deeply aware of the creature's exceptional memory and their ability to trace the origins of people, which could spell doom for any remaining survivors. Quinn is adamant about not risking his people's lives, particularly after his own encounter with the very first dragon in the tunnel where his mother met her demise. He vividly remembers the sheer power these creatures possess. In the midst of these concerns, the radio operator delivers a troubling report. Van Zan is deviating from the orders and attempting to sway Quinn's people to join his cause. In response, Quinn rushes to the platform, where the American is rallying the men to take up arms and stand against the dragons. 4 individuals volunteer, but Van Zan insists on forcibly recruiting the strongest ones. This disagreement leads to a heated confrontation between Quinn and the American, resulting in a physical altercation. Alex intervenes in the conflict, leaving a bottle of iodine with Quinn as she departs with her commander. As Quinn tends to his wound, he notices Jared packing his belongings with the intention of becoming an archangel. Quinn, who had hoped that Jared would one day take on a leadership role within their community, attempts to dissuade the young man. However, Jared remains resolute in his decision to join Van Zan's team. Meanwhile, Van Zan's group embarks on their journey toward London. Quinn, in search of firewood to burn the dragon carcass, is joined by Jared, who has ultimately chosen to heed the counsel of the man who saved his life. During the night, as Quinn re-examines the dragon, he makes a remarkable discovery: an egg, confirming the veracity of Van Zan's words. Simultaneously, Van Zan's group reaches the outskirts of London, where they face a devastating assault by a colossal dragon, resulting in the loss of nearly the entire military group. Alex tries to reach Van Zan, but receives no reply. The Citadel's radio operator overhears these discussions. Meanwhile, Alex lands and discovers her commander, who is deeply shaken by the dragon's devastating attack on the entire group in a single strike. At the same time, the dragon heads toward the location from which Van's group had departed and assails Quinn's fortress. In response, Quinn directs the children to take refuge in a shelter equipped with a fire suppression system. They successfully evacuate nearly everyone, but as the dragon unleashes a powerful blast, Cidi manages to shut the metal doors behind Quinn before succumbing to the flames. In an effort to soothe the terrified, crying children, their leader recalls the comforting words of their constant prayer, seeking salvation from the dragons. Later, Quinn hears banging at the door, hoping that Cidi somehow survived, but instead, he finds Van Zan and Alex, who have returned to the Citadel. Van Zan gathers all the remaining weapons as Quinn is now determined to eliminate the dragons. They plan to reach London at twilight, so they opt to use a helicopter for their journey. Van Zan leaves Jared in charge, and the trio takes off. Upon their arrival in London, the survivors are horrified by the sheer number of these creatures. They witness a male dragon resorting to devouring its own kind, a grim indication that they lack food, making the dragons even more perilous. Quinn suggests approaching the dragon lair via underground tunnels. As they venture underground, they clear the passages ahead using gunfire. Van Zan equips Quinn with special bolts that are armed with powerful charges capable of killing a dragon. However, these bolts have a limited range of only 15 meters. The challenge is that the person attempting this task is often risking their life, as they must wait for the moment when the dragon breathes fire, leaving its chest vulnerable. The challenge lies in the fact that these bolts have a limited range of just 15 meters, so the person attempting this task often faces a high risk of being killed. The group emerges from the tunnels and finds themselves in a fierce battle with the male dragon. Van Zan plans to climb a tall chimney and requests Alex to divert the dragon's attention, while Quinn remains on the ground, waiting for the right moment. The team divides to carry out the strategy. However, upon reaching the designated location, Quinn realizes that he has lost the crucial bolts. Meanwhile, Van Zan ascends the chimney, calling for Alex to draw the dragon away. She obliges, luring the dragon towards her, but the gunfire proves ineffective in causing significant harm. Van Zan takes a brave and desperate charge at the dragon with an axe, leading to his untimely demise. Alex successfully reaches Quinn, who admits he's without weapons. They seek refuge amidst the ruins, attempting to elude the pursuing dragon. With caution, they dash towards the site where the trucks were destroyed. Alex spots a bolt beneath one of the vehicles, and as Quinn retrieves it, she distracts the dragon. Quinn loads the crossbow, and emerging from cover, manages to deliver a precise shot directly into the dragon's mouth, resulting in a powerful explosion that leads to the creature's demise. Encouraging Quinn, Alex reminds him that Van Zan believed in his abilities. 3 months later, Quinn's group sets up radio towers to re-establish contact with the outside world. Jared reports that the French have reached out to them, urgently seeking Quinn's leadership. With a smile, Quinn announces that they are needed. Alex laughs, noting that people have found optimism again. This optimism is sparked by the recent observation that they saw the last dragon just a couple of months ago, suggesting that these creatures are gradually fading away, and humans will once again become the masters of the world.